We have great confidence in our son. He is the smartest man I know. I mean, in terms of pure intellectual capacity. And as long as he's good, we're good.
Ah, yes. That's the Biden family standard. As long as Hunter's good, they're good. I don't think they're good. If that's the standard we're going to apply, the smartest, most intelligent man Joe Biden knows, which explains a lot about our foreign policy and our economic policy and our crime and punishment policy. Now, what's going on with the Hunter Biden trial in Wilmington, Delaware? Is Dr. Jill up there today? You know, they're headed back to Europe for on Air Force One. When are they leaving? Tomorrow for Europe? I think you need a verdict today if they're leaving tomorrow for Europe. We can't have Jill flying back and forth all week long on these 757s, these U.S. Air Force C-32s. No, sir. Remarkable stuff. Verdict reached in Hunter Biden gun trial. A verdict has been reached in the Hunter Biden gun trial. The breaking news now on the television screen. And, we were just talking about it here. I wanted them. We still have nearly an hour, not quite an hour left on our big radio broadcast today. And I was hoping that the verdict would be reached while we were on the air today because, and let's face it, what I want, because it will reveal the greater truth, is I want the crooked Democrat, Wilmington, Delaware, Biden family jury to find him not guilty on all counts, just as the New York jury found President Trump guilty on all counts. And I just did a little math on that, I looked up the New York jury in President Trump's trial. They deliberated for 9 hours, total of 9 hours, according to news reports. There were 34 counts, and the 12 jurors, most of them probably didn't talk much. They deliberated for about 9 hours. Now, that means that they covered 3.77, nearly 4 charges per hour. That means they spent about 15 minutes on each charge with 12 jurors. So that means everybody gets, about 1 minute to talk per charge. Guilty. And it was a lynch mob, as we know. Just amazing. Remarkable stuff. And how do you, with 34 counts, you find them guilty on every count. You spend 15 minutes on each count. And that was good enough for the New York lynch mob jury. Now, in Delaware, they've deliberated for how long? They had a countdown clock of some kind. It was less than 4 hours, I think, right? It was about 3.5 to 4 hours that the jury had deliberated between yesterday and today, or was that just today's countdown clock? I think it was just today. That was just today's countdown clock, because I know they deliberated a little bit yesterday, too. But now the headline is, jury has reached a verdict. We are standing by for that verdict, and we will share it with you lickety-split, because we love the lickety-split, don't we? We all love lickety-split. It's but that's not important. So we saw a lot of rushing around the outside of the courthouse a few minutes ago, and I said, because I've been outside of courthouses for verdicts in Washington, D.C. before, and at the Supreme Court, and the signs are people start running. There are 20-year-olds that start running, sprinting with clipboards or laptops or something, and they're running and they have their phones and they've got to get a hold of somebody immediately. That means, something happened. That's how you can tell. But it is now being widely reported that a verdict has been reached in the Hunter Biden trial, and that's big fun for the whole family. Let's see what happens now if there are guilty verdicts in any of the 3 counts, and I would be probably a little surprised if there were. If there are guilty verdicts, then we will not hear the sentencing today. That will take place much later. Hunter doubtless would be allowed to go home. And which home? Maybe the Barbie Malibu dream house. What was he renting that Malibu house for? Like $30,000 a month, something like that. But he was selling his painting his artworks for $500,000 a frame. So that was no big deal. But now we've got a verdict in the Hunter Biden trial, and that is big potatoes, big stuff, I'm telling you. And so how long did they take? They took a lot more time. They deliberated a lot longer on Hunter Biden's 3 charges than the New York jury did on President Trump's 34 charges, about 15 minutes per charge for them in New York. And what do we have? We'd have a couple of hours per charge, only 3 charges. But this is the big stuff, and we're standing by to report as soon as it breaks what the verdict is. Extraordinary times we're living in. Am I right? Yes, I'm right. Boy. Now, in the meantime, I mentioned this earlier, but I haven't gotten to it, and I haven't gotten to Nancy Pelosi yet either with her crazy talk and the hidden video. Why did the Pelosi juggernaut, the Pelosi organized crime organization, that's not necessarily an Italian slur, why did the Pelosi organized crime organization hide this video for 3.5 years, and why did it pop? That's kind of interesting, isn't it? But before I get to that, Nate Silver is an activist Democrat numbers cruncher. And the news media loves him because he's a Democrat that crunches political numbers. Nate Silver floats Biden dropout as president's approval rating sinks to new all-time low. Political commentator and data analyst Nate Silver is again asking if the Democratic Party's interest would be best served by Joe Biden dropping out of this year's presidential race. Silver has long been concerned about Biden's ability to beat Donald Trump in a 2020 rematch. See, he's a Democrat, and he expresses his concerns accordingly. He's worried that Donald Trump might win, so he wants to do what's best for the left, for the party, which is pro-Hamas and anti-Israel. And Putin loves him, and Iran loves him, and the Chinese loves him, because the left is here. They're not liberals. In a Substack post from back in February, Nate Silver noted that Biden was losing now and had no plan to reverse his electoral fortunes. Now, the thing is, with the new poll numbers, they're noting today, months after his initial, I had initially said that the Democrats have to get rid of Joe Biden 1.5 years ago, and I have been standing by that ever since. And with Election Day coming up fast, now Nate Silver is arguing that Biden should consider ceding the Democratic presidential nomination to somebody else. He said, Biden just hit a new all-time low in approval of 37.4% at 5:38 yesterday. Dropping out would be a big risk, he says, but there is some threshold below which continuing to run is a bigger risk, Nate Silver said on his X account. Are we there yet? I don't know, but it's far more than fair. But it's fair to ask. It's more than fair to ask. Excuse me. So there he is. It's clear, in my opinion, he said, that the Democrats would have been better served if Biden had decided 1 year ago not to seek a second term. I was saying that 1 year ago and 1.5 years ago, which would have allowed them to have some semblance of a primary process and give voters a say among the many popular Democrats across the country. Many popular Democrats, sure, like Hillary Clinton and, Mr. French Laundry. You got Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who has done such a horrible job that California might as well be on fire. Honestly. I'm telling you. So Nate Silver is now saying, gosh, look at his approval rating, 37%. Below 40% is really bad because you're supposed to have more than 50%. You see, that's how that's supposed to work. Isn't that amazing? Yes, sir. Now, we are watching very closely what's going on in Wilmington, Delaware, because, the big news is about to pop. And I don't know which way it's going to go. What's more exciting than this? I've been saying for a long time, because it's true, that our entire political system and our system of electing our leaders has become nothing more than a terrible cable television show. And this is an exciting episode in that terrible cable television show. And everything is political. It's, I don't really care very much about Hunter Biden one way or the other. I mean, he's a complete scammer, and he is, the old song, I Ain't No Senator's Son. He always was that senator's son and then the vice president's son for 8 years. And they've been lying to us about flying on Air Force Two to China and not having business meetings. Then we learned that they did. Then we learned that millions came in from China to the Biden family coffers. And then they lied to us about that. And they lied to us about Burisma, the gas company in Ukraine. And then, Ukraine keeps coming out. Isn't that amazing? They lie to us and they lie to us and they lie to us. And the Felonious 51, who signed that disinformation letter where they ran an information operation against the American people, they lied to us and lied to us and lied to us. And now today there is a story saying that none of them regret lying to us. Isn't that amazing? And now the Democrats know that Biden is awful and terrible. Also, I shared with you the other poll today where more than half of Democrats say that they're voting for Joe Biden, because they hate Donald Trump, not because they love Joe Biden so much. Just amazing. So will Hunter Biden be found guilty? And then I'm going to guess that the process will be bifurcated, as Mayor Marion Barry used to say every time he was on trial and being convicted of things. Bifurcated. Then he came out and he used the word bifurcated over and over again because his lawyer taught him the word bifurcated. I mean, it's split into two parts. There's the guilt or innocence, and then the sentencing, which would come later. And I don't think we're going to see that today. I would have no expectation of that, because you still got to rig the whole system, got to give him more time to rig the system. But he could face up to 25 years in prison and $750,000 in fine. Just amazing. Are they announcing guilty on all charges?
That's what it says.
They're announcing guilty on all charges? Is that what they're saying?
Convicted on all 3 felony charges.
Convicted Hunter Biden found guilty on all 3 felony charges.
That's what the AP says.
The Associated Press now reporting Hunter Biden found guilty on all 3 counts, all 3 felony counts, facing 25 years in prison, or maybe work at the soup kitchen for an afternoon, and that could do it for you. Boy, all right, that is very unexpected. I got my cynicism has not paid off for once. Normally it does. Guilty, convicted on all charges. Of course, they were all, any lawyer and all the legal analysts from Turley to Dershowitz have been saying that he's the most obviously guilty person that they've ever seen. Here's the form. Here's what he checked on the form. It's not true. That's it. Wow. Guilty on count 1, guilty on count 2, guilty on count 3. Isn't that amazing? Oh no, and I've got to tell you, all of this cynicism, or let's say skepticism out there across America, the error let out of all of that. Now, where does the corruption go? It goes to the Delaware judge giving him a little slap on the wrist. Well, he had a drug problem, and he's a first-time offender, and depending on how you define the word offender. And so he's going to get a little soup kitchen time. I think the judge has to rig this, and I expect we're not going to hear the sentence today. That would be my expectation. I'm not Jonathan Turley. But now the question becomes, what is the punishment? Because paying $750,000 the maximum fine, they had 2 of his phony artworks go to make up the $750,000. And if he does no time in jail for this, then he's still the senator's son, the vice president's son, the president's son. in Delaware, the hometown. But I got to say, guilty on all 3 counts. Isn't that amazing? Boy, how about that? Hey, are you tired of having to buy those expensive HEPA air filters again and again for your air purifiers? Well, say goodbye to nasty home odors and to costly filters with the Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier. The Thunderstorm eliminates bad smells and replacement filters with its Oxy technology. Odors in your home will disappear in a matter of seconds. Nasty smells from dirty laundry, pets, cooking odors, even musky mildew smells. No match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. And no more expensive filters to have to schedule and buy and replace, saving you money and hassle month after month. You can hold an Eden Pure in your hand. It's not a big piece of furniture. It's only this big. All you do is turn it on, plug it in, turn it on, and forget it, and it'll quietly work in the background, cleaning and freshening the air in your home or office. The Thunderstorm will get rid of all stinky odors and no expensive filters to buy again and again. Put a Thunderstorm in your bedroom, in your teenager's room, in your kitchen, in your basement. They make great gifts, too, and right now you can get $200 off when you buy a 3-pack of Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifiers for whole home protection. All you have to do is visit EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code CHRIS3, CHRIS and the number 3. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is CHRIS3. All right, we have our ears glued to the ground. I'm going to have the latest, the very latest, up to the moment on the Hunter Biden trial in Wilmington, Delaware, found guilty on all 3 felony counts. How's he going to skate now? Come on, the fix is in. The judge. It's got to be the judge. It falls to the judge. He's got to give him a couple of hours of soup kitchen duty.
But I'm going to come right back to you. Hunter Biden has been found guilty on all counts in his gun trial, federal trial in Wilmington, Delaware.
How about that? Will wonders never cease in the United States of America? Just extraordinary stuff. It's being reported, as you might expect, all over the world, all over the planet. Hunter Biden hugged his lawyer, Abbe Lowell, and other members of the defense team. Hugging the lawyers. That doesn't happen very often, especially when you're found guilty. Guilty on all 3 counts. Count 1, making false statements on an ATF form. Sure, to the drug dealer. Excuse me, the gun dealer. So I got a little Hunter on the brain. Count 2, making false statements on an ATF form that would have kept in the dealer's records.
And now we have some of the results. If we could, Ken.
I'm told we can't report it yet.
The jury
we're
finds
verifying
him guilty. Count 2, the jury finds Hunter Biden guilty. And on count 3, which is possession of a firearm by a drug user or drug addict, guilty. Hunter Biden has just been found guilty on all 3 of the counts.
Guilty. NBC fake news on MSNBC, and they got their White House reporter on the lawn, and they're John. They're astonished. They can't believe what they're saying. They didn't even know if they were on the air or not. Going back, hey, could we have this? Can we? They're talking on the air about whether they should wait and to confirm this. Well, that'd be a first. Amazing. See, guilty on all 3 counts. He could face a maximum of 25 years in prison based on these charges. And honestly, I think maybe you should get 25 years of picking up garbage alongside the highway. It's just 25 cleaning, because like a drunk driving thing or something. Count 1, making false statement material to firearm sale. That comes with a maximum prison sentence of 10 years in prison for that 1 count. Count 2, false statement in firearms transaction record. That comes with a maximum prison sentence of 5 years. Being guilty on both of those could be 15 years in prison. Count number 3, possession of a firearm by a drug user or drug addict. That comes with a maximum prison sentence of 10 years for a grand total, drum roll please, of 25 years in prison. But I think maybe just 25 years of having to pick up garbage alongside the highway wearing an orange jumpsuit, having one of those sticks with a nail in it and a bag. So you got to, kind of thing they do, I think, for drunk driving things. And maybe just 25 years of that. How old is Hunter Biden? Because 25 years, let's see, how old would he be when he was done picking up garbage alongside the highway?
Well, he's 54 now.
He's 54. All right, so 25, be 79 years old. He could be out of prison by the time he's 79 years old. I don't know why that would be a problem. Seems fair. Honestly, truthfully, it doesn't. It would be completely unfair. It would be completely crazy. What he did was, I got to say, I don't think he's going to do a day in jail, and that's where the fix will be in. And paying a fine is no big deal because he didn't actually earn the money. He just showed he had these no-show jobs for $1 million a year with Burisma and all that stuff. I think he had to go to a board meeting once in Monaco. Didn't have to actually go to Kiev or to Ukraine at all, or learn the language or learn anything about the natural gas industry. Nothing like that. But this is a big deal, and I don't know if it restores my faith in the judicial system, because this isn't the part that counts. Now that he's been found guilty, that matters. So he's a convicted felon. Let's just start calling him Hunter convicted felon Biden, because convicted felon Joe, Joe's not convicted yet. I did see a good meme of Joe Biden yesterday sitting in a jail cell. It was very well done. It was kind of fun, of Joe Biden sitting in a jail cell. Since this is what we do, now we're convicting, we put everybody on trial. It's part of becoming a third world country, honestly. And I think his lie is, I don't know, is it a big deal? I don't know. His crime, is it really a big deal? It's not 25 years in prison, big deal, I got to tell you. Here is this awful, horrible, terrible fake reporter at NBC Fake News named Ken Dilanian. And Ken Dilanian, we've highlighted his terrible, tragic, corrupt work on a number of occasions in the past. But here is MSNBC. If you're watching MSNBC, what are you getting today? Where are you getting this kind of stuff from Ken Dilanian and beyond?
That's not a surprising verdict, particularly after 3 hours of jury deliberations. There was a lot of question here about whether there would be, nobody really predicted an acquittal, but whether there would be a hung jury, whether there would be one juror who held out, who was sympathetic to the idea that, no one was harmed, after all, by this gun.
Yeah, well, who was harmed by the Donald Trump paperwork issue? He paid his lawyer to do legal work and noted it for IRS purposes as a legal expense because he paid his lawyer to do legal work. Ken Dilanian, you can hear he's forlorn. You can hear in his voice, in his tone, that he is, no one was harmed. Who was harmed in the Donald Trump case again? Absolutely. And what was that? A bookkeeping issue? Was somebody shorted money? No. Was somebody cheated out of a paycheck or out of money? No. Was the IRS cheated out of anything? No. Did the courts lie about his net worth and the value of Mar-a-Lago? $18 million. He's got a car in the garage at Mar-a-Lago worth $18 million. Honestly. And Ken Dilanian, MSDNC, 3 hours, nobody predicted an acquittal. BS. Lots of people predicted acquittals. And, maybe a hung jury, because you expect one juror would hold out. And that was a likely outcome. I'm kind of surprised, I've got to say. I'm surprised. And the jury system is typically an amazing thing to see. This was as cut and dry as it gets. Here's the form. Here's what he checked on the form. That's not true. Guilty or innocent. And that's that. That's pretty much what this was. There were a couple of forms, but that's it. Amazing. Now, Michael said, well, maybe this will lead to a family crisis in the Biden family and open the door for Joe Biden to step down as president. Say, well, my family needs me, and my son, Hunter, the world-class artist, he's an artist, and natural gas business tycoon, he's going to need my help. Let me say, I don't think he's going to be sentenced to a day in jail, and I think he probably shouldn't be. That's my true feeling about this, for this alleged crime that he committed. That he's, well, it's not alleged anymore. He's guilty. He's guilty of all three counts, facing 25 years. All right, let's take a phone call. People are responding to this wild story, and with good reason. Let's go to Bob, calling from Munster, Indiana, listening on the great WLS, the powerhouse out of Chicago, Illinois. Bob, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris, I love your show. Thank you so much for taking my call, sir.
You bet.
You know, I look at this. I really think from the very beginning, I thought he was going to be found guilty, because these people sacrifice their own for their agenda, whether it's your son, your daughter, your father, your mother, whoever it is. And I think the blowback from it, if it would have been not guilty, especially when they're really hurting right now with his ratings being down and everything that's going on, would have really caused him to go into a further downward spiral as far as the party is concerned. So now they can go out and say, hey, he was with his own peers. He was found guilty, just like Trump. See how the justice system works? It's fair and equal for everyone. Mm-hmm. That's my true feelings. Now, as far as the sentencing goes, no, I don't think he's going to be sentenced to hardly anything. But as far as this goes, I really am not surprised.
I like your thinking, and I think that your thinking is sound thinking, and that the jury in Wilmington, Delaware. First of all, I mean, again, every legal expert that you see on television laying it out, saying this is cut and dry. This is an open and shut case. There's no question of guilt or innocence. He's obviously guilty. All right. So all the legal experts were saying that. And I was still kind of holding out hope that they'd be corrupt Democrats, because for me that would be more fun. And it would be an example, and it would be a prime example that you could use for years and years in discussions of the two-tier justice system. Now, the fix here is going to have to be in the sentencing phase with the judge there, who will doubtless sentence Hunter Biden to nothing or almost nothing for being guilty.
I'm wondering.
Go ahead.
I'm kind of wondering if that's going to, just the way they're thinking is, I mean, you and I are the same age, and we've been around this for many, many years with these people. Uh-huh. We know how they think. I'm just curious if whatever that sentencing may be will affect Trump's sentencing. Again, just to show, the so-called, and I'm making quotations with my fingers like you do, equality in the law. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. Because, and quite honestly, what you're saying is it's very cynical in that you're looking at this and thinking, but justifiably so, but you're looking at it and thinking that the decisions will be political decisions. And
exactly.
And that the politics behind the decision-making is, how do we do what is best for the Democrat Party under the circumstances? Because they were kind of painted into a corner on this Hunter Biden thing with the obvious nature of the violation. Here's the form. Here's what he checked. Whatever story you're making up like a school child with all your $1 million lawyers, nobody's buying it. And the jury didn't buy it. And the jury, God bless them, a Delaware jury, a Wilmington, Delaware jury said, well, this is cut and dry. We're going to find him guilty. There wasn't one holdout, as Ken Delaney at NBC had been hoping for. And that's, in the end, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to see. I do believe that the Trump trial was corrupt in 8 different ways. But This is fascinating. And now you can still corrupt it by, in the end, the judge saying no punishment for you.
Do I have time for one more thing, Chris, or no?
Of course you do, my friend.
I just want to say I really, from my heart, just am so happy you're out doing what you're doing. You are just a staple for us to keep us going and keep us laughing while we see the unfortunate truth of what has happened to our beautiful country and where we're heading. And I really sincerely mean that, sir. And I really want to say thank you so much.
That was the one more thing you wanted time for? See, I didn't know that. It sounds like I'm patting myself on the back now.
No, I'm patting you on the back, sir, and millions of others are, sir.
Well, you're very kind, and I appreciate that very much. I genuinely do. I just like the truth. I tell the truth, and I think you can make fun of everything. I think you must make fun of everything, and that's key. This is stuff, Bob, that I learned as a little kid in Catholic school, and it's been serving me pretty well ever since. I'm just I'll keep it clean, a Catholic school wise guy. I just say wise guy, and where you learn to make fun of everything, and as crazy as the world is, it's been crazier, in our parents' time, Bob, and in our grandparents' time, it's been crazier, and things are pretty crazy right now. But it's key to keep our sense of humor about us when, and the more mad and maddening the world becomes, I think the more important it is to maintain a sense of humor. And to be able to laugh and go eat dinner with your family and your friends and be normal, to remember normal. All right. Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. Great call. And let's go to, let's go to Larry calling from Kensington, Maryland. Larry, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, Chris.
Hey, Larry.
And you are my favorite WMAL personality. I was, worried that Alan Dershowitz was going to steal my theory. The Democrats don't do anything without forethought and some sort of an agenda to the end. And this thing with Hunter was all planned out. You had to have Trump guilty in order to get Hunter off with a lighter sentence. So you pretty much guaranteed that what they're going to do with President Trump is give him what everybody else would call a slap on the wrist, but a reduced sentence to the point where they could do the same thing for Hunter. So this thing with Trump was all planned out to protect Hunter. That's why there was such a degree of animosity toward the defendants and everything by the judge. He had to have a guilty plea no matter what to protect Hunter, which was later. And Trump's sentence is going to come prior to Hunter's. So they have to be nice to Trump in order to be nice to Hunter.
An interesting hypothesis, and not entirely out of the question, of course. Now, the Democrats, I think they were just going to get Trump no matter what, right? I mean, because that's driven by hatred. But how you get 34 guilty counts on one piece of paper, one paperwork issue, is pretty amazing. They really drove that all the way home, didn't they? And once you got him, you're right. Now that it reminds me of a line in the movie Hunt for Red October, where I think it's an F-14 crashes on the flight deck of the aircraft carrier, and the naval officer who is Fred Thompson, who became a senator, comes out and he says, he says that Ruskies, talking about the commies, the Soviets, they don't take a beep without a plan. You know, the commies don't do anything without a plan. And then he uses some foul language to say the Russians, the Soviets don't do anything without a plan. And you are ascribing, I think, appropriately those same characteristics to the Democrat Party today, the left in the United States today, that they don't take a step without having a plan charted out here. And how do they do this? But you think this will contribute to a reduced sentence for Trump?
Absolutely.
Because that justifies or legitimizes the reduced sentence for Hunter Biden.
Perfectly said. Exactly.
Very well. I think you said it, Larry. I'm just taking what you said. You're the smart guy here. I think that's very interesting, and I appreciate you calling in with that. And I got to tell you, that speaks to a lack of confidence and faith in our judicial system to be fair and square that I think so many millions of us have been afflicted with of late because of all of the corruption that we see around us every day. Only if you're paying attention and you don't get your news from MSNBC. You know, if you're getting real news, like from this radio station. Larry, thank you. Thank you for the call. And Bob, too. What a day this is. Another day in America, huh?
A big moment for Hunter Biden and for the President of the United States and the First Lady. First Lady's been here for many of the days of this trial. She's not here today.
As unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
Yes, Dr. Jill Biden was not in the courtroom this morning, couldn't make it to the Hunter Biden found guilty portion. He's hugging his lawyers because the woman who he disdains and has badmouthed very openly in the past couldn't make it. Also, it should be noted, one trial down, one Hunter Biden trial to go. He still faces trial on federal tax charges next. And my friend Marty going back and forth say, okay, thanks for that. Now, what about the money he took from China and Ukraine and Russia? What about that? On MSDNC, they were very upset. And Chunk Todd, he's, oh, look, I ran out the clock, didn't I? I really did. Chunk Todd says this is a great day for America and the American judicial system. In most countries, you couldn't put the president's son on trial and convict him. I guess that's true. Let's do it again now.
This is a really good day for the American system.